on saga of the Roman Empire, a bedtime tale. Gather close, dear listener, and let me take you to a time long ago, when a city called Rome rose from 7 hills to rule a world of wonders. This is no ordinary tale, it's the epic story of the Roman Empire, stretching from 27 BC to the distant year of 1453, filled with emperors wise and wild, battles fierce and grand, and a legacy that echoes through time. Settle in, for this is a story to carry you through the night, like a gentle breeze across the Mediterranean. The birth of an empire, Augustus' Golden Dawn, 27 BC, add 14. Once, in a land of olive groves and marble temples, a young man named Octavian stood at the heart of Rome. The year was 27 BC, and Rome had been battered by civil wars, its people weary from battles between great generals like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Octavian, Caesar's clever heir, had outwitted his rivals, defeating Antony and the dazzling Queen Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium. The Senate, awed by his strength and wisdom, named him Augustus, meaning venerable, and crowned him the first emperor of Rome. Augustus was no king in the old sense. He was careful not to seem like one, for Romans distrusted monarchs. Instead, he called himself Princeps, the first citizen, weaving his power through the Senate's traditions. Picture him walking Rome's bustling streets, his toga gleaming white, his eyes sharp with plans. He rebuilt temples, paved roads that stretched from Spain to Syria, and tamed the chaos of war. His armies conquered lands, annexing Egypt's golden sands and Hispania's rugged hills, making the empire vast, over 1 million square miles by some counts, home to 56 million souls. Under Augustus, Rome shone like a polished jewel. He formed the Praetorian Guard, elite soldiers to protect the city, and reduced the legions to a disciplined 28, ensuring loyalty with gold from his treasury. He built aqueducts to carry water, forums for debates, and theaters for laughter. Yet, his greatest challenge was succession. His daughter Julia bore him grandsons Gaius, Lucius, and Agrippa Postumus, but none outlived him. So, he turned to his stepson Tiberius, granting him power in AD 13 when Augustus died in AD 14 at the age of 75. He left a Rome stronger than ever, its borders secure along the Rhine and Danube, its people dreaming of eternal glory. The Julio-Claudian dynasty, a family of triumphs and tangles, add 1468. With Augustus gone, his family, the Julio-Claudians, took the throne, each emperor adding their own colors to Rome's canvas. First came Tiberius, a stern general who preferred strategy to smiles. He ruled from AD 14 to 37, strengthening Rome's coffers and securing its borders. But Tiberius grew paranoid, retreating to the island of Capri, leaving his guard commander Sejanus to rule in his shadow. Sejanus plotted, but Tiberius struck back, executing him in AD 31. The emperor's later years were marked by trials and fear, casting a shadow over his early successes. Next was Caligula, or Little Boots, named for the tiny soldier sandals he wore as a child. From AD 37 to 41, Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus dazzled Rome with his charm at first. He ended Tiberius' harsh trials burned old records of treason. But soon, whispers of madness spread. Some say he planned to make his horse Insidious a senator, or ordered his men to fight the sea god Neptune, collecting seashells as trophies. True or not, these tales painted him as erratic. In Ad 41, the Praetorian Guard, fed up with his whims, assassinated him, along with his wife and daughter. Claudius, Caligula's uncle, was an unlikely emperor. From AD 41 to 54, this quiet scholar, once mocked as weak, proved his strength. He built a port at Ostia to feed Rome through winter storms, and pushed the empire's borders into Britain, where his legions marched in AD 43. Yet, personal life was stormy. His wife Messalina betrayed him, and his next wife, Agrippina, may have poisoned him in AD 54, paving the way for her son, Nero. Nero, ruling from AD 54 to 68, was a lover of art and spectacle. He built grand theaters and held lavish games, dreaming of himself as a god. His reign saw peace with Parthia and ties with Greece, but trouble brewed at home. A great fire swept Rome in AD 64, and though Nero rebuilt the city, rumors blamed him for the blaze. His golden palace, the Domus Aurea, sparkled with jewels, but drained the treasury. When rebellions rose, Nero fled, and in AD 68, facing execution, he took his own life, whispering, "What an artist dies in me." The Julio-Claudian line ended, leaving Rome in turmoil. The year of the 4 emperors and the Flavian rise, Ad 60, 896. Nero's death sparked chaos, known as the Year of the 4 Emperors. From AD 68 to 69, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian each claimed the throne, like rival captains fighting for a ship's helm. Galba was strict, Otho desperate, Vitellius lavish, but it was Vespasian, a no-nonsense general, who won. By December AD 69, he stood firm, founding the Flavian dynasty. Vespasian, ruling from AD 69 to 79, was like a sturdy oak after a storm. He rebuilt Rome's finances, raising taxes and auditing old records. He began the Colosseum, a grand arena where gladiators would clash. He favored Hispania, granting rights to its towns, and strengthened the Senate with new voices from the provinces. His legions, once loyal to local generals, were mixed and spread along the borders, ensuring loyalty to Rome. His son Titus ruled briefly from AD 79 to 81, but his heart was vast. When Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying Pompeii, or when fire struck Rome, Titus poured gold into rebuilding. He opened the Colosseum with 100 days of games, delighting the people. His death in AD 81, possibly from illness, left Rome mourning a beloved leader. Domitian, Titus' brother, ruled from AD 81 to 96. He was strict, dressing as a general and controlling the Senate tightly. He repelled Dacian invaders and built defenses along the Danube, but his paranoia grew. By Ad 96, fearing betrayal, he was assassinated by his own court, ending the Flavian line. Yet, the empire stood stronger, its borders secure, its treasury full. The 5 good emperors, Rome's golden age, at 96-180. After Domitian's fall, Rome entered a time of wisdom and peace under the 5 good emperors: Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius and Marcus Aurelius. Each chose their successor not by birth, but by merit, like passing a crown to the worthiest hand. Nerva, from AD 96 to 98, was a gentle elder who freed those accused of treason and worked with the Senate. Facing a revolt from the Praetorian Guard, he named Trajan, a strong general, as his heir. Trajan, ruling from AD 98 to 117, was a conqueror. He led Rome to its greatest size, defeating the Dacians and building Trajan's column to tell the tale. His armies marched to the Persian Gulf, capturing Mesopotamia, making Rome a vast tapestry of lands. Hadrian, from AD 117 to 138, loved to explore. He traveled the empire, building Hadrian's Wall in Britain to mark its northern edge. He surrendered some of Trajan's far-flung conquests, believing peace was stronger than overreach. Antoninus Pius, from AD 138 to 161, brought calm. His reign saw few wars, though he built the Antonine Wall in Scotland, later abandoned. Marcus Aurelius, from AD 161 to 180, was a philosopher king. While fighting Germanic tribes along the Danube, he wrote meditations, words of wisdom still read today. His co-emperor Lucius Verus helped defeat Parthia, but Marcus' son Commodus would break the chain of chosen heirs. Commodus and the Severan dynasty, Shadows of Chaos, at 180-235. Commodus, ruling from AD 180 to 192, was no philosopher like his father. He saw himself as Hercules, wearing lion skins and fighting in the Colosseum. His reign began well, but paranoia took hold after a failed assassination attempt. By AD 192, his erratic rule ended in murder, orchestrated by his own court. The historian Edward Gibbons saw this as the start of Rome's decline, from a kingdom of gold to one of rust and iron. The year of the 5 emperors followed in AD 193, with Pertinax, Didius Julianus, and others vying for power. Septimius Severus emerged victorious, founding the Severan dynasty. From AD 193 to 211, he fought Parthians and strengthened Britain's defenses, rebuilding Hadrian's Wall. His sons, Caracalla and Geta, ruled together briefly, but Caracalla had Geta killed in AD 211. Caracalla's reign from AD 211 to 217 was bold. He granted citizenship to all free men in the empire, uniting them under Roman law. But his cruelty led to his assassination. Macrinus, a non-dynastic emperor, ruled briefly from AD 217 to 218, but his peace with Parthia angered the legions. Elagabalus, a young priest of a sun god, took the throne from AD 218 to 222. His eccentric ways, marrying a Vestal virgin, hosting lavish banquets, shocked Rome. His cousin Severus Alexander, from AD 222 to 235, tried to restore order, but invasions by the Sassanid Persians and Germanic tribes overwhelmed him. His murder in AD 235 plunged Rome into chaos. The crisis of the 3rd century, a storm across the empire, AD 235-284. From AD 235, Rome faced a tempest known as the crisis of the 3rd century. Emperors rose and fell, some ruling mere months. Germanic tribes like the Goths and Alemanni raided the borders, while the Sassanid Persians struck in the east. A plague, possibly smallpox, ravaged the population, weakening Rome's heart. The empire splintered. The Gallic Empire took Gaul, Britain, and Hispania, while the Pomeranian Empire claimed Syria and Egypt. Yet heroes emerged. Claudius Gothicus, in AD 269, crushed the Goths at Naissus, a turning point. Aurelian, from AD 270 to 275, was a warrior king who reunited the empire. He defeated the Pomerans, led by Queen Zenobia, and reclaimed the Gallic Empire. He built walls around Rome, a sign of the times, for even the eternal city needed protection. By AD 274, the empire was whole again. Though scars remained, cities lay in ruins, and trade faltered. Diocletian and the Tetrarchy. A new order, AD 284-305. In AD 284, Diocletian, a soldier from humble roots, became emperor. He saw Rome's vastness as its weakness and devised a bold plan, the Tetrarchy. He split the empire into 4 parts, each ruled by an emperor, 2 senior Augusti and 2 junior Caesars. Diocletian took the east, with Galerius as his Caesar, while Maximian ruled the west with Constantius Chlorus. It was like dividing a mighty river into manageable streams. Diocletian fortified borders, defeating Sarmatians, Carpi, and Persians. He reorganized the empire's provinces, creating new administrative centers like Nicomedia and Mediolanum. His tax reforms filled the treasury, but his edict on maximum prices failed to stop inflation. A fervent pagan, he launched the Great Persecution against Christians, a dark chapter from AD 303. In AD 305, Diocletian did the unthinkable. He retired, the first emperor to do so, tending his gardens in Dalmatia. But the Tetrarchy faltered without a steady hand, as rival emperors vied for power. The Constantinian dynasty, a Christian empire, AD 306-363. From the Tetrarchy's ashes rose Constantine, son of Constantius Chlorus. In AD 306, his troops proclaimed him emperor, and by AD 324, he ruled alone after defeating rivals like Maxentius and Licinius before the Battle of Milvian Bridge in AD 312. Constantine saw a vision, a cross in the sky, and embraced Christianity. His Edict of Milan in AD 313 legalized the faith, transforming Rome's soul. He founded Constantinople, a new capital gleaming on the Bosphorus, blending Roman might with Christian hope. Constantine's sons, Constantine Roman II, Constans, and Constantius Roman II, divided the empire in AD 337. Civil wars followed, with Constantine Roman II dying in AD 340 and Constans in AD 350. Constantius Roman II faced rebels like Magnentius, but held the throne until AD 361, when his cousin Julian took power. Julian, called the Apostate, rejected Christianity, reviving pagan temples. His brief reign ended in AD 363, mortally wounded in battle against Persia, leaving no heir. The Valentinianic and Theodosian dynasties, a divided empire at 364-395. Jovian, a Christian officer, ruled briefly in AD 364, restoring Christian privileges before dying suddenly. Valentinian I, elected in AD 364, chose his brother Valens as co-emperor, splitting the empire. Valentinian in the west, Valens in the east. Valentinian fought Germanic tribes, dying in AD 375 during a heated meeting with Quadi envoys. His son Gratian and infant half-brother Valentinian Roman II took the west, while Valens faced disaster at Adrianople in AD 378, where Goths crushed his army, killing him and 2/3 of his men. Theodosius I, named emperor in AD 379, restored order. He made Christianity Rome's official religion in AD 380, ending centuries of pagan tradition. He faced rebels like Magnus Maximus, who killed Gratian in AD 383, and Eugenius, defeated at the Battle of the Frigidus in AD 394. Theodosius was the last to rule a united empire, dying in AD 395. His sons, Arcadius in the east and Honorius in the west, inherited a divided realm. The fall of the West and the Byzantine legacy. At 395-1453, the Western Roman Empire weakened as Germanic tribes poured in. In AD 410, Visigoths sacked Rome, a shock to the world. Emperors like Honorius and Valentinian Roman III were often puppets of generals like Stilicho and Attius. By AD 476, the young Emperor Romulus Augustulus was deposed by Odoacer, a Germanic leader, marking the West's end. Odoacer ruled Italy, sending the imperial regalia to the Eastern Emperor Zeno, who later backed Theodoric the Ostrogoth to reclaim it. The Eastern Roman Empire, now the Byzantine Empire, thrived. Under Justinian I, from AD 527 to 565, it reclaimed parts of the West, including Italy and North Africa. He built the Hagia Sophia, a cathedral of breathtaking beauty. But invasions and plagues strained the empire. By AD 641, Heraclius' reign marked a shift as Arab conquests shrank Byzantine lands. The empire endured, its culture blending Roman law, Greek thought, and Christian faith, until AD 1453, when Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Turks under Mehmet Roman II, ending Rome's long story. Epilogue. Rome's eternal echoes. So, dear listener, the tale of the Roman Empire comes to a close, not with a single moment, but with a legacy that lives on. From Augustus' golden dawn to Constantinople's final stand, Rome built roads, laws, and dreams that shaped our world. As you drift to sleep, imagine the Colosseum's cheers, the Senate's debates, and the quiet wisdom of emperors like Marcus Aurelius. The Roman Empire may have faded, but its spirit whispers in every stone and story. Good night, and may your dreams walk the paths of Rome.